Good morning. It is me, Pearl, and this is Tuned In Tarot. And I am about to look at the balance between the divine masculine, excuse me, and the divine feminine aspects of self. We are going to look at that energetic balance, understanding that whatever state those energies are in inside of ourselves, we can expect to see reflected back to us in the outside world. And if we want changes in the person that we are focused on, we must realize that that change must come from self because the energy is just flowing back to us. All right. I shuffled, and both the divine masculine and the divine feminine had the same number of cards. So I think we'll just allow divine masculine to go first today because divine feminine went first yesterday, I believe. Although, you know what? I can't remember. Whatever. We're going to do that today. That's what I'm feeling. All right. First card up for divine masculine, top of the deck, the overall forefront of his mind is this King of Swords. So, this is the front. He is wanting to be a man of integrity. To do so, he is being a bit aloof and cold at the moment, but it looks like it's because of what he's gearing up for. But he is wanting to be this king that rules with truth, directness, clarity, and has command, has conquered his emotions, has command of his armies, can go into battle and fight for what he loves. So we're seeing him really embody this energy today. And it's overall in his mind. He's needing to be that King of Swords. And I feel the light from this card today. It's not as much about the shadow traits. The coldness and the aloofness is similar to the King of Cups energy, where he must maintain this calm, cool, collected um, front, basically, so that he can rule without causing fear or panic, etc. Bottom of the deck, the niggling thought in the back of his mind is this good old Knight of Pentacles who we see constantly. So he's in that King of Swords energy because he is still having to move slowly and steadily. But the King of Swords has a plan and a strategy. So this knight isn't just, drifting aimlessly, like constantly stopping to see the sights. He is really moving towards this ultimate outcome, which is this solid offer that he's carrying, finally arriving and being delivered to his divine feminine. So that's the niggling thing in the back of his mind. He might be chafing a little bit at that slow energy, but he's moving. He's starting to move. That King of Swords is directing him where to go. Next card up, which will be the first thought in his mind, is this Seven of Wands energy. And it is in reverse. So he was standing alone, fighting off all these opposing forces, and he has now passed from that energy and moved into a space where he no longer has to embody this. And he has stood his ground, and he's made his decisions about what he is worth fighting for. And he's now passing out of the need to fight. And the reason I say that is because the next card is victory, Six of Wands. So don't have to fight anymore when you've achieved your victory, which is kind of backwards in the way that the story goes, because obviously it's the Six of Wands, then it's the Seven of Wands. But in this case, we are seeing him release this energy of fighting and claim his victory. And this is what his victory is: the Lovers. So here they are in his mind, the Lovers. And we are seeing for certain that he feels like he can claim victory in this regard. That energy, that confidence that he has right now in his King of Swords will be the thing that allows him to achieve this, which is his desire to come into union with the divine feminine. Then we see the Two of Pentacles in reverse. That's why I said he has made his decisions and he is no longer fighting against himself. He has stopped fighting against himself. He was forever juggling this energy, trying to create reciprocity with this back and forth, but not being able to really fully give reciprocity because the back and forth with the divine feminine wasn't balanced. It was imbalanced. And it was imbalanced because he was fighting against himself, fighting against the ability to be vulnerable, to come forward and speak to her and really be on an even playing field. But he has made his choice. He's no longer going to be in this imbalance with her. He's no longer going to fight against himself and create that, because he is preparing for this judgment, right? This atonement, this salvation that comes with this. This is also about his resistance to the vulnerability, because he's not loving these feelings. This is not something he's super excited about, experiencing the feelings of vulnerability that come from this loneliness, interesting choice of term, that comes from this atonement. But this judgment card is clarifying his victory. So we know that he understands that his victory comes from finally facing the music, so to speak, and really being vulnerable and expressing that what he wants is to be with his divine feminine in this lover's energy. Now this card is clarified by this Four of Cups finally in reverse. And when I see the Four of Cups in reverse, I know that that means I am ready. So in his mind right now, he has embodied the King of Swords with that confidence, with that willingness to wield that sword of truth and bring in a new idea for this union. And we see him ready, really feeling ready to have his victory, to have what he has been dreaming of all of this time, with all of those fantasies and everything. It's finally moving from fantasy into reality. He is ready now to have that energy here in the 3D. You don't say. Well, we're looking forward to that, aren't we? All right. Next up, we have, this is the top of the deck, overall forefront in his heart. We've got the Nine of Swords, and it's in reverse. So he has fully released his fears regarding this union, regarding his ability to bring this union. He's no longer up at night with these anxieties about what's going to happen. He's really fully embracing that what he longs for is possible. He's released that 9 energy. Now, what's very interesting is the niggling feeling in his heart space is the culmination of the 9. Surrendering your fears brings about this 10 of Swords, which is this painful ending. But this is the niggling thing. This is what the fears and anxieties have been about. He caused this painful ending. He's caused painful endings before. They've gone back and forth. Remember that Two of Pentacles energy, back and forth, back and forth. And he's done with this energy. He's releasing his fears that he is going to bring about this 10 of Swords. And instead, what he's feeling is the end of painful separation, right? That lover's energy in his headspace indicates he feels, oh my God, this next card, he feels the end of this painful separation. Well, the first thing in his heart, King of Swords. So we have here full union, and I see union. I see union today, people. I feel it. I see it. King of Swords energy, head and heart. He is embodying the light of this card. In his head, he is believing himself to be this way. He is tuned into the heart space, which feels his potential as this King of Swords. And here he is, and we love it. Now, this King of Swords is clarifying the Seven of Wands in reverse in his headspace, which is this embracing that he is no longer fighting against himself. The King of Swords isn't fighting against himself. The King of Swords is fighting with integrity. He is fighting to protect his kingdom, and he fights against opposing forces that aren't himself. So he is fully feeling confident in that energy right now. Next up, we have the Wheel of Fortune, and it's in reverse. So we have a little bit of needing to turn and shift into the energy where he's the master of his own fortune. But it's also this belief that in his destiny, that he's kind of a little bit at the mercy right now of this wheel. Because while he's in his King of Swords and he's very confident, he does know that certain aspects of divine timing and destiny and luck depend on are what this next card depends on, which is, oh my God, this is the King of Pentacles. I don't see these cards for the heart space until I start to read them, so I'm usually like shocked by them. That's what's happening today. So we have King of Pentacles in reverse. Interestingly, we had Queen of Pentacles in reverse yesterday. Now we have the King of Pentacles in reverse. And we're seeing that because that wheel, that turning, that shifting of the wheel, he understands that he's really having to trust in fate and destiny, that the wheel will turn and that he will be able to manifest in this union and be there for the divine feminine. So that's why we're seeing him here like this today. He is here, right? Remember, this card didn't have to come out. So he is here. He is in the 3D. He is not yet visible. He is not yet speaking. He is not yet in this full 3D manifestation for divine feminine, because that wheel, because of that fortune, that destiny that he's just waiting on right now. And this is clarifying. Also, that wheel of fortune was clarifying the Six of Wands. So his victory depends on the turning of this wheel. The Lovers depend on his ability to manifest, right? He can have this union that he longs for as soon as destiny allows him to be in his 3D energy. But he's very, very close to that right now. And this was the reason I gasped, because here's also the King of Wands. So we're only missing King of Cups here today. We've got all of the three other kings. He's really feeling mature. He's feeling ready. He's embodying the energy of a man of integrity, a man of I can't remember how I describe the King of Pentacles, a man of the world and a man of action. So it's here. All this energy is here, and he's fully embodying it right now. The King of Wands, of course, is passionate. He's definitely got a lot of attraction for his divine feminine, but he's able to command that reactivity. He's not like the Knight of Wands, right? This is a maturing. We've seen him so much in this Knight of Wands energy, and now he's fully maturing into this King of Wands. And that is clarifying that Two of Pentacles, which was about the imbalance in the connection, the fact that he wasn't taking action. Divine feminine was trying to take action, but really limited, because at this point she needs to be in her feminine, which is to receive, and he needs to be in the masculine, which is to give. And so that is what we are seeing him choosing to be right now, a man of action. Next up, we have Temperance in reverse, and that's clarifying this Judgment. So I see him maybe struggling a little bit with his Temperance energy. It might not mean that he's fallen off the wagon per se, if that has been an actual, issue of substance abuse for this divine masculine. But it could just be that he's struggling with really trusting in the healing energy of the divine, especially because we see him kind of judging himself for this temperance. It also just might be judging himself for the amount of time it took him to come into his temperance and be able to fully mature into this king energy. And so that's what he's feeling a little bit uncomfortable with, in terms of being his vulnerability and judging himself harshly for what he's done, and feeling like the victory was delayed because he was judging himself. But we do see that Temperance energy, and it's interesting to see two cards of imbalance, because Temperance coming in reverse does suggest an imbalance as well. So he's understanding that this fortune really depends on him maintaining temperance, choosing to maintain temperance, and choosing to balance the energy and trust in that divine healing that takes place with that temperance. The last card up is the Empress, and she is clarifying what he's ready for. But she's in reverse because of this King of Pentacles being in reverse. He understands that until he is 3D, Divine Feminine remains just out of reach. And he's really depending on his fortune to shift so that he can finally come into this balanced union with her. We didn't see him feeling himself as the Emperor today, so he's not quite matched yet with this Empress, but he's very close. He's one king away from fully embodying the Emperor. Wow, Divine Masculine, we love this for you. All right, let's take a look at Divine Feminine, who, oh my Lanta. Okay, top of the deck, overall forefront of the mind for Divine Feminine is this Ace. That's interesting I said that. Ace of Pentacles, and it's in reverse because she can sense this. She senses that this Knight of Pentacles has that offer, but hasn't shown up yet. So it's like she's this Ace of Pentacles for her. It's like she can taste it. She can really taste it, but it's just out of reach. And she knows that in order to get this, she must release the attachment. She has to release that attachment to the physical manifestation of her desire in order for it to come. So she's doing her best job to be in a state, that lightness of being that is required for manifestation, which is, I lightly believe that I want something, and I'm putting that detail in my mind into like what it's going to look like, and I'm intending for it, and I'm expecting to see it, while at the same time understanding that it is not the thing that makes me whole, and I have my own thing, and I can't be attached to this any one manifestation. I have to let it go. So she's at the forefront of her mind is really doing that juggling act of letting it go, because the niggling thing in the back of her mind is this Ace of Wands energy. So she is still feeling very much that this is her heart's desire to see this full manifestation of this Ace of Pentacles in the real world. But in order to get this desire, she understands she must release the attachment to the material. She is one smart cookie. And we have a very exciting card. First thing in her mind, the World. This is an ending of cyclic behaviors that have kept her in this place where she is stuck. She feels completion here. She does feel like she has figured it out. Like, hey, I realize, ironically, I can't want this at all. I have to stop wanting this. And when I stop wanting it, then I can have it. But in the end, it doesn't matter if I get it or not. That's a completion of a cycle that has been haunting her for a long time. And she's feeling that the end is here, and that these two worlds of the Divine Masculine and the Divine Feminine are finally becoming one, precisely because she's ending these cycles. Next thing on her mind, Knight of Swords. She's thinking rather that this Divine Masculine is actually intending to come in as this knight, and that is what she desires. That is her heart's desire. She wants to see the truth. She wants clarity. She wants directness. She wants that new idea, the world coming is the end of the old. The Knight of Swords brings in the new. And remember, this is inside of herself too. She's bringing in the new, that new idea. She's not letting go of that Knight of Swords energy. It was there yesterday. It's here today. It's moved into her head. Very, very strongly, she feels that Divine Masculine is ready to embody this. Then we have the Five of Swords. But it's interesting because just like yesterday where we saw the Five of Swords for Divine Masculine heart space, we see today that she is unwilling to accept this defeat. This is normally a card about being defeated or not wanting to fight, wanting to step away. But I don't see that. She is, like Divine Masculine, no longer willing to fight herself, fight against herself. But she is not accepting defeat. She's refusing to believe that divine masculine will not come to her as a knight. She believes he will. She's not going to accept that defeat. And that is, my cards are falling. That is further supported by the clarifying card, which we'll get there. Why she's not accepting defeat is because she feels this ending of this cycle is here, and she feels the King of Swords. All right. She feels the King of Swords. She feels her divine masculine is in his King of Swords energy. And you know what? She's actually really glad. Normally, she's worried about the shadow traits of this king, the iciness, the aloofness, like not being able to hear from him, feeling like he's just pretty cold and calculating and arrogant. She doesn't feel that right now. She feels it's the end to those shadow behaviors. What she feels right now is that divine masculine is in his strength and his power and his integrity. She has made a request of him of some kind, and he has honored it. And she feels like he finally is getting it. There is an end to this immature behavior, and he is mature now and really a king and really understanding where she is coming from and being willing to fight for her too, because the King of Swords, of course, is going to fight for her. That's why she's not feeling defeated. This knight is graduating into this king. What's really interesting is the next thing up for her is clarifying this Knight of Swords. And it's the Knight of Wands. But it's not in reverse. Usually for Divine Feminine, we're seeing like, ugh, I do not want to deal with Knight of Wands energy. So it's interesting that we're seeing it upright today. But the clarification of this Knight of Swords, what I think I see for her is she's understanding that the Knight of Wands behavior that divine masculine has engaged in is ended, right? That's this ending. The ending of this immature behavior, he's graduated into this King of Swords energy. So instead, she's just kind of relishing the Knight of Wands, the idea, right, that he is so passionate, that he couldn't control his impulses in regards to her, that he just wanted to rush in and was so excited to be with her, even though that caused problems for them because he wasn't ready. We know that that's not true anymore because we know he's ready for his Empress. He's just waiting on this divine timing, which they're both subject to because that is the way that the twin flame relationship goes. There's a divine timeline here. And when you surrender to it, it moves a lot faster. So she understands that what is going on with divine masculine finally, even though he hasn't maybe been able to tell her, she understands that the reasons for him engaging in this Knight of Wands behavior have to do with his circumstance. And that this new energy that she's really feeling from him, this King of Swords energy, is really more appropriate in their situation because he has to wait for that wheel to turn. So she's accepting the Knight of Wands traits. She is loving him unconditionally with his Knight of Wands traits. It is no longer so important to her that, or not so important to her, but so painful to her to have experienced him in this energy, because she understands that he was limited, and that now that he has realized how that affected her, he has moved into a place where he is being mature and waiting patiently to bring her what she needs. Now, the final thought in her mind, which is the clarifying card for this not accepting defeat, which is why I was reading this as not accepting defeat, is that she is in her Queen of Swords still today. She was there yesterday. It was in the same place in her headspace. It's still there. She is holding on to that clarity, her own truth, her own ability to conquer her emotions, that strategic mind, really doing her best to keep her thoughts in check so that she can really release this attachment that she has to this Ace of Pentacles. So we see her accepting that she must maintain her own aloofness, her own iciness in this matched relationship with this current King of Swords that the divine masculine is embodying. All right, let's look at her heart space. Well, her heart space is top of the deck, overall forefront in her heart feeling is in union with the niggling thought in the back of her mind. This is her Ace of Wands, her desire. Here it is. We're seeing it now. It is quite an incredible thing that she is feeling her desire and she is thinking about her desire, and there is union, because when we see union, that is when we see physical union. And her desire is for what? Physical union. So she feels it. She feels the potential of this right now. The niggling feeling she has is the Seven of Cups energy. She's no longer in this space where she is feeling confused or overwhelmed by her emotions. And we see that that's very precisely because her Queen of Swords is here helping to conquer all of these emotions that frequently are swirling around for her and causing her all sorts of issues. She's not having that problem anymore. She has made her choice. She has chosen herself. She has chosen her own heart's desires, to fulfill her own heart's desires herself, regardless of whether divine masculine is at her side or not. She is going to complete this cycle on her own, whether he chooses to join her or not. That's definitely what that niggling feeling is about. The first thing up in her heart space is the Three of Pentacles in reverse. Now, this would be clarifying this World card. So what we're seeing here is this work on herself has allowed her to end these cycles, right? This is the feeling she has, and this is what the result of that feeling is, the thoughts about it. She has worked very hard on herself, but she is ready now to come into a time of collaboration with divine masculine and no longer be working on her own alone. But there's an end to separation here. There's an end being alone. And that is definitely exciting for her. Next card up, Queen of Cups. So in her head, she's the Queen of Swords. In her heart, she's the Queen of Cups. And that is such a lovely thing to see. And this Queen of Cups is clarifying this position in her mind of this Knight of Swords energy. So this new idea is that she can command her emotions. She's sensitive, nurturing, psychic, compassionate, loving, caring, expressive. And she feels that this Knight of Swords is coming towards his Queen of Cups, that this is what he is attracted to and this is what he desires. And he will approach her with this truth. If she can stay in a place where she's expressive, but not too expressive, where she's compassionate, where she's loving, then this Knight of Swords can approach her. So she's holding that space in her heart to be fully in her kindness, in a place of love. Now, the next card up is the Three of Cups, and it is in reverse, and there's a couple of reasons. It is about her wanting to celebrate right now and knowing that it's not quite time, and wanting the reunion and knowing that it is not going to be here until she sees a specific individual, which we're going to see with the next card. But it's clarifying this defeat position in her head, which, remember, we're saying she was not accepting defeat. And so instead, we have her releasing any fears she has about third-party energies that have blocked this union. That can be karmic partner, can be, which of course could be a relationship, but it could also be a family member. It could be restrictive belief systems that were in place, a job, career, distance. It's just whatever is third-party energy that is blocking them. She is not feeling anymore defeated by this energy. She's thinking she's not going to allow herself to feel defeated by this third-party energy. She is bringing her Queen of Swords to bear against that energy. But she is feeling that the delay of that reunion is because her Knight of Cups has still not come in. Now, remember, she has wanted to see what divine masculine is holding in this cup. She's wanted to hear, she has wanted to have a physical 3D expression happen. Not, from lyrics or 5D energy or from poems or from these indirect methods that divine masculine has potentially been engaging in. She wants to hear truth directly with that Knight of Swords energy. She's really longing for this Knight of Cups, and that will be something that she'll be able to finally be in that Three of Cups energy and celebrate. But this is clarifying this King of Swords. So what we have here is an understanding that because this divine masculine must be in his King of Swords energy right now, he must maintain some silence and some aloofness from her, because he is coming in with confidence, but he's coming in with his integrity. He's not about this Knight of Wands energy anymore, where he's just going to come in, gratify his needs, basically express his emotions really quick and then leave without any sort of real consistency, no solidity. She understands that as that is shifting, she can't expect this King of Swords to be able to express to her until he has achieved that victory, which we saw in his headspace, against that third party energy that has been blocking this union. But she feels this new beginning. Here is the Fool card. Now, interestingly, the Fool card is clarifying this Knight of Wands. So we know what she thinks about this behavior. She thinks her divine masculine was acting a fool. He was acting a fool. Let's be real. That was what was happening. And she is feeling, though, because that's in the same role of the clarification of the Knight of Swords, that a new idea is coming, where this Knight of Wands energy is not necessarily a thing of the past, because she's accepting that this is part of her divine masculine, that he is a bit impulsive, and she's impulsive too. So she kind of gets it, right? That Knight of Wands wouldn't be in her headspace if she didn't share that energy with him. They are reflection of each other, as I keep telling you. Believe they are reflection. So if she doesn't like Knight of Wands behavior from divine masculine, then you, if you're a divine feminine watching this, need to ask yourself, how do I act like a Knight of Wands? Because you do. And divine masculine was only reflecting back to you what you were giving to him. And you did this. And what did he do? Immediately, he did this. I can't make it up. The cards jump out, right? They jump out. Today they jumped out to the song Harrow Downhill, actually, by Tom York. And that beautiful song, which I've seen live a couple of times and everyone sings it, it has very applicable lyrics, although it's about a different topic. But when you hear it, you can see how it applies to this union. This is the new beginning. This is the new thing that is coming, that she is integrating this Knight of Wands behavior. She is combining it with the Knight of Swords. She is becoming this King of Swords and this Queen of Swords, this matched union inside of herself, but she feels that it is here. And the final card, Justice. Justice, which is our theme, which we have not moved on my Instagram. We are normally doing these playlists for a card of the month, and last month was Justice, and I didn't choose a new card for this month because it didn't feel like Justice had actually arrived. But we see it here today, the final feeling of her heart space, the clarifying card for not only the justice that this Queen of Swords is insisting upon, but justice in regards to this third party energy. So the new beginning comes with the justice being done in regards to this third party energy of the past. Okay, let's take a look at the oracles. We're going to go back to divine masculine and take a look. Okay, y'all got tons of oracles today, so I hope you got some popcorn because we're going to be going for a minute. Divine Masculine, you are currently being called to look at the shadow traits of the father. So let's look at those. Dictatorial control and abuse of authority. All right. Well, we do have you in your King of Swords. So there is an element that Divine Masculine is always working on in terms of being controlling, right? He wants to be the master of his fortune. He wants to turn that wheel and shift that wheel. And he is trying with that King of Swords energy to do this with integrity. But you're being called to look at the light traits of the Father, which is a talent for creating and supporting life and a positive guiding light within a tribal unit. So I am very called to remind you that when you are thinking thoughts, you cannot control them. You can only guide them. So instead of trying to have this dictatorial control over your thoughts in regards to this union, you must guide them with better feeling thoughts. So constantly reaching for the better feeling thought here. That is what the work that Divine Masculine needs to do in order to start coming into balance in regards to this father energy, releasing this tendency and this desire to assert dictatorial control. And then looky, we have the light attributes of the knight. And this is looking like the Knight of Swords or the Knight of Cups. It is not looking like the Knight of Wands. He has his heart on his heraldry here. And this image is really feeling like a Knight of Cups energy. You, Divine Masculine, are in the light traits of this. This is loyalty, romance, and chivalry, a love of honor. And this definitely fits that King of Swords energy, a love of honor, chivalrous. So you are in your romance right now, Divine Masculine. Take advantage of that energy. You are also, oh my gosh, you got 4. I didn't realize you got 4 archetypes. You are also in the light traits of the visionary, which is a capacity to envision what is not yet conceivable to others and a willingness to proclaim a vision without regard for personal gain. So, Divine Masculine, you've been holding on to this vision despite what others may think or believe about it. And you're really being acknowledged for being in that light trait of being willing to proclaim this vision without regard for your personal gain. You are doing this now not because of the material attachment, not just because you're going to gain a divine feminine, but because you realize that it is part of your journey to come into union here so that you can work as a team to uplift. And you are realizing that no matter what people may think about this union, because they're going to have their thoughts about it, they're going to have their beliefs about it, it's no longer controlling how you're going to approach divine feminine. It's no longer a deciding factor for you. You're holding onto this vision of being a healer and uplifting together in union here on the earth. And it is not a common vision that people really all, you don't hear like twin flame stuff. It's more and more common, but it's not super common thing for people to believe that they were called here to incarnate with one particular person. But you're holding that vision regardless. You're being called to look at the shadow attributes of the magical child. Pessimism, depression, and disbelief in miracles, believing that energy and action are not required for growth. So, call in the light, which is seeing the potential for sacred beauty in all things and the belief that everything is possible. So, you're a little bit in that pessimism and depression. We saw that yesterday. You were working to release it though. But the divine is here to help you call in that light now and believe that everything is possible. Your guardian angel is here to help you be brave. If you're in your night energy of romance and chivalry and you're preparing to bring that King of Swords energy and come in with integrity, you're going to need bravery and courage. And your guardian angel is here to support you and is telling you, do not be afraid. I am with you. There's a beautiful Catholic hymn that just popped into my mind. I don't think it's called Do Not Be Afraid. It's like, do not be afraid, I am with you. I can't think of the name of it, but it's very beautiful. Saint Michael, the archangel, is here to help you with confidence. Now, this matches this King of Swords energy. So you are fully supported by Saint Michael, the archangel, in this King of Swords energy. And he's helping you maintain this confidence so that you can come in and speak to divine feminine finally. I can gradually change my vibrational frequency. There is no thought that you cannot eventually have, just as there is no place that you cannot eventually reach from wherever you are. But you cannot instantly jump to a thought that has a vibrational frequency very different from the thoughts you are usually thinking. This is about that Knight of Pentacles, slow and steady. As a visionary, holding this vision, having to believe in something that is impossible, you cannot just switch that. You cannot just flip that switch and suddenly you're there. You must gradually convince yourself of your vision. You must keep choosing thoughts that pull you towards that belief so that you're not stuck here in looking at what is. Eventually, there will be that belief there. There will be that belief in miracles as you keep making these little proofs to yourself, right? Looking for signs, having the sign confirmed, asking for repeating numbers, seeing those repeating numbers. As you're doing this, you are getting closer and closer to the space where you can believe in that thing that is difficult to believe in, that miracle, which for you has to do with coming forward, being brave enough to speak, right? To do that, you have to step out of your comfort zone. Sir, step out of your comfort zone. You're very cozy in your older behaviors where you're just silent and you don't say what you feel and you're afraid, but you have bravery and confidence and chivalry and honor right now in your oracles. So step out of your comfort zone and trust that you are equipped to perform this action you mean to take. Have you answered your deepest calling? Hey, look at that. There is your union in your oracles with divine feminine. Here she is, that Queen of Swords energy, the warrior woman. You are channeling that. You are both in union in that King and Queen of Swords energy. And you must answer your deepest calling. This card is emphasizing this. You must fight for what it is that you desire. This is very interesting. The next card up is no. Wait, postpone, pause, say no. So if there is some tendency for you to slip back into your Knight of Wands and jump before the timing is right, remember, you have that gradual thing you must do to really be in this place of belief. So wait, postpone. If there's a choice that you are going to make, if there's something, you know what this card means for you. Wait, postpone, pause, or say no. There could be somebody could be asking you for something. They could be asking you to do something right now. Just wait a tick. Wait for that divine inspiration. Trust in your counsel of light. This is the divine orchestration, that Wheel of Fortune card. Feel that card shift upright as you become the master of your fortune and as that fate and destiny aligns for you to be together. You have helpers in the subtle realms. We just saw some of them, some big ones really, that are with you right now. So that is the oracle energy for divine masculine. Let us see divine feminine. Divine feminine, you are in the light traits of the martyr, learning the transcendent nature of service to oneself or a cause. So you are finally learning that about this transcendent feeling that comes when you serve others. And serving yourself is serving others, because remember, your behaviors are reflected. So if you serve yourself, then others around you will start to serve themselves. We get very fixated in our culture on ideas regarding selfishness. And selfishness is a thing. It is a thing. But we have used this rhetoric about selfishness to suppress our true nature, which is that if we bring ourselves into alignment, we can serve others unselfishly. Because if you have achieved some kind of alignment and peace, then you're equipped, your cup is overflowing, and you can give to others from the overflow that is there, right? So, very important that you have learned this transcendent nature, that as you are serving your own needs, releasing that attachment to that divine masculine who is not communicating with you, you did that for yourself. You didn't want to do that. You wanted to just stick with that one physical attachment and just do whatever he needed you to do because you wanted to be what you felt was selfless. But in doing that, you lose yourself. That's what selfless means, right? So you have learned that choosing yourself allows you to be transcendent, which really gives you the ability to be of service at all. You are called to look at the shadow traits of the God energy, which is despotism and cruelty and using power to control people. So you're being cautioned here because you're in your Queen of Swords energy. And it's a little bit of a heady place to be because she does have a lot of power and control. She's like, no, you do what I say, right? Same kind of controlling stuff Divine Masculine has. So you're called to look at the light, which is benevolence and compassion. So if you've been in your Queen of Swords in a really resistant, difficult way, then you are probably not in your compassion for Divine Masculine. You're in your Queen of Swords because you're pissed. You're like, what the fuck? He's not showing up. He doesn't value me. He doesn't respect me. I need respect, respect, respect. I just found out yesterday that that the Leo moon placement, which I have, is that in relationships, you demand respect. And I was like, oh, so that must be why I feel really out of alignment. So you might have shifted into that Queen of Swords energy where you're like, I need respect at all costs. Like, this is not okay. And sort of kind of going into this power that you have to control Divine Masculine. But you need to be benevolent and compassionate. He's in a situation. He is in a situation. It is clear, based on these readings and based on some of the communications that you have received, which may have been 3D communications, they may have been, emails, text, or calls, or you might not be at that point right now, and it could have been these indirect communication, which it does look like this collective has a lot of indirect communication. But you know from these communications that he is not in a place where he can approach you. He would if he could. That is clear. It is not okay for him to be in a place where he can't approach you and then keep you on the hook, right? That's the disrespect. It's like, okay, bro, I see you. You've got shit going on. Then don't try to approach me yet. Then you need to wait, postpone until you are ready, until that fortune has shifted, even if that means losing me, because you can't be attached to me that way. If you hold on to me like that, that blocks us from being together, right? So that is so much different than just being like, wow, he's disrespectful to me because he's an asshole. No, you need to be benevolent and compassionate. There's a reason for the season. There's a reason for what is going on in this season of his life, right? So recognize that in the eternal force within yourself and others. See source inside of Divine Masculine. That is unconditional love. See source there in his machinations. He doesn't get a seat at the table until he shows up with respect. But if he shows up with respect in that integrity of the King of Swords, you can pull up a chair for him, right? So benevolence and compassion. You're in the light attributes of your teacher energy. And today is Saturday, and I teach for 2 hours after this. So I always like to get this card on Saturdays. Ability to communicate knowledge, experience, skill, or wisdom. So you are really doing a good job of communicating right now, tapping into your experience, drawing from that wisdom, and really sharing that wisdom with others. It was like the precarious position of these cards. All right, you got 2 guardians as well today. First up, love this for you, blessings of abundance. Now, abundance is material and spiritual as well. So this is, you are really feeling, or your guardian angel is here to support you in feeling very abundant, in feeling all the blessings that you have, in really relishing in this gratitude for what is there because of this big one that's coming up. Now you got the God card, an archetype, and look what you got in your guardian. God, love. So you got the head honcho today. Right now, what is protecting you, what is supporting you is love, that benevolence and that compassion and that eternal devotion. God is with you. Whatever you call that energy, that pure light energy, it doesn't have to be called that for you. Every reality has been focused by someone into being. You were taught to face reality before you knew you were creating reality. Do not face reality unless it is reality you want to create. For any reality only exists because someone has focused it into being. Those statistics about your experiences and others are not about any hard and fast now reality. Wow. Ignore reality. This is a Pisces rising here, so it's not too hard for me to ignore reality, but ignore what is, because what is was the experience of another. And this is your experience, and it is unique. And someone else was creating that reality before you. Do not face that reality unless it is a reality you want to create. So if somebody tells you, you're too old to be a rock star, that is not your reality. Do you think that Lizzo would have been successful if people said, your body type, that's not okay. Like we don't have that here in the music industry. You can't win a Grammy. You can't be on top. Adele too. These things in our industry that kept us believing that we couldn't achieve because of our body type or our skin color or whatever it is, that is what is. That is a reality created by someone else. Do not focus on a reality that is not one you want to create. If Lizzo focused on how she couldn't make it because of the oppression that she experienced for her body type and for her skin color and for her heritage and everything, for where she came from, she wouldn't have won a Grammy. She had to take that reality and put it aside and say, no, I'm going to focus on the reality that I want. And that is what distinguished her as an artist. You are very close to achieving your goal, Divine Feminine. And the emphasis on this card is you have achieved your goal. You are not close to it. You have achieved your goal. God and love is with you right now. Your attachment to the material is passing away. That is the goal. The goal is alignment. And you have the King and Queen of Swords here inside of your headspace. You are in alignment. There is union here. So it's not close. It's here. You are achieving this goal right now. Where are you being called to journey to? The emphasis on this card, two things. If you are being called to travel somewhere, you might reconsider. I'm getting that message. You might reconsider doing any traveling at the moment. As a collective country, we should not be traveling. Please stop doing that. Anyway, that could be there. But also this emphasis, which is about where are you called to journey to next? You've already achieved your goal of union. What next? What is next? And that is supported by this card. These sometimes come out together. Where are you being called to journey to? Answer that call. What is your soul calling you to do? Right? Forever your soul was calling you to come into alignment and achieve union with this divine masculine. Now you have done that. Now you are in union. You really are in union. If you're focused on a physical union and I tell you that and you're like, no, I'm not, then you're missing the point entirely. The physical union is a manifestation of the spiritual one. There is always a buffer of time, right? So your physical union comes when you fully accept that you are in union. What's one way to show the universe that you have accepted that you are in union right now? Answering the call to journey to the next place. When you're in union with your divine masculine in the physical, there is something that you plan to do, that you want to do together. Do that now. Picture that now. That individual will come and be at your side, but you have to already start that journey and that work right now. So, where are you being called to journey to? What is your soul calling you to do? Go there. Unless it's traveling during a pandemic. Please don't go there then. Okay. The crumbling. What are you clinging to? This was in reverse because Spirit is acknowledging you are not clinging anymore. And you can rebuild this tower now because you aren't clinging to anything. You let it go. And now that you are no longer in a state of wanting, you can finally enter that state of having. That is what that you have achieved your goal feeling is about. Divine couple, bottom of the deck for both of you. You need to look at the shadow traits of the gambler, which is relying on luck rather than hard work. The Divine Masculine Wheel of Fortune card in reverse is like relying on your luck rather than relying on hard work. That healing energy that you need to do, that is what turns the wheel, right? And you're resisting that healing. So shift into that temperance energy, that balance inside of self. Allow the divine to heal you, and you will see that Wheel of Fortune become something you control. You control your luck as you fully do this work. Don't get lazy with this work. Don't let it slide. Don't give into that devil energy, which is what the temperance is helping you fight off. Really, really, really do this work. Don't gamble this relationship, right? This is pretty much the Wheel of Fortune card in reverse. Divine Feminine, same for you, because this is for both of us here. Do not rely on luck in releasing this attachment. Do the work to open yourself to receive, whatever that is. For me, that's doing this Lacey Phillips work on unblocking money and unblocking love. These things that I do feel have prevented me from receiving. I have to keep doing that work. I can't be like, oh, my Divine Masculine's looking pretty good today in the reading. I can just kick back and like rely on the Wheel of Fortune to like take me to my destiny. No, your destiny is dependent upon you showing the universe that you are committed. So do the work. Come into the light, which is willingness to follow your intuition even when others doubt you. So trust your intuition, which comes from doing that work of listening, going inside, meditating, soul searching. And then I got a nice surprise for you all, because this is a season where we kept seeing the St. Nicholas card come up, which, if you saw my reading yesterday, irritates me. But today, what we're seeing is the true reason for the season. Although Yuletide on the 21st is a bit more ancient than what we celebrate on the 25th, which really is a Christian version of this pagan solstice. What? But the reason for this season is Jesus, is Christ. And when you get this card, this is a miracle. So while you don't have to rely on your luck, you must rely on God and Christ, if that is what in your vocabulary. It's whatever energy you see as miraculous, saving grace energy, the ability to swiftly change things that are going one way when you desire another. But there is this Christ energy here, this rebirth energy. And that energy is bringing with it a miracle. It is a miracle that you have traveled for all this time in this incarnation, and that in this 3D reality, you will be physical. You will be in physical union together. So trust in that miracle. I can accept myself as a vibrational being. Once you begin to accept yourself as a vibrational being who attracts all things that come into your experience, once you understand the correlation between what you are thinking, feeling, and what you are receiving, you then hold the keys to get from wherever you are to wherever you want to be on all subjects. So once you come to my reading and you fully accept that what you are thinking, which you're seeing reflected in these cards in the headspace, And what you are feeling, what you are seeing reflected in these cards in the heart space, and that is for both energies because you are a combination of both of those energies. Once you understand that correlation between what you're thinking and what you're feeling, and how you can guide those thoughts and counter those fears and choose light, then you hold the key to get from wherever you are now, where you are focused on what is and you are thinking about what is and you are not aware that your thoughts about what is perpetuate what is. Once you come into that full acceptance of yourself as a vibrational being, you will achieve anything your heart desires, right? And then both of you, you are good enough. You are both good enough. You are more than good enough. You are great. You are great. And this is so interesting because remember, Divine Masculine got this card? No? Well, the Union has yes. So Divine Masculine, methinks that whatever it is that you are supposed to say no about is possibly the desire to wait or postpone, actually. Because the Union right now, that's this Three of Cups energy, that celebration. The Union is getting yes, 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 yes. And if you look this up in the Work Your Light deck, you're going to see that it's just 2 pages of yes, 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 yes. Just say yes. So say no to the fear, Divine Masculine. Say no to the doubt. Say no to anyone in your life who is asking you to turn away from this union or asking you to do something that is not in alignment with this union. But that no is not about this union. That waiting and that postponing is not about this union. Come into balance and temperance and say yes to this reunion that you so desire. All right. That is my reading for today. That is my energy check-in. I shall now prepare to go teach some lovely children classical piano for the next couple of hours. And then I have a lot on my plate today that I need to accomplish. So I'm going to be busy. I hope you all have a lovely day and you surrender to the divine and you just keep in that healing energy and keep working on unblocking and coming into a place to receive. Take care, everyone.